Dave Delgado here with Frank the Crank Camacho and Matt Scroll from Guam Time. We're here to talk about how you guys are looking to help out with the Guam Coalition. Now, homeless awareness is something that, not too many people know about the statistics, but you guys wanted to do something to raise funds and have more people chime in on what's going on here on the island.
What happened was I just remember going for a run, right? Just your typical run, but I really had no endpoint. I was like, I'm gonna go for this run. Usually I would say I'll run from Adelup to wherever, right? To and then back. But I just kept running. So it was cool because I was running for like 2 hours and I was like, man, this feels like the scene out of Forrest Gump. Remember when Forrest Gump just started running? And I just kept running. And then I was just like, I'm a huge fan of David Goggins, ultra marathon runner. And there's a lot of other guys out there, Cameron Haynes, and spectacular human beings, And I was like, I want to try something that I want to challenge myself, not only physically, but mentally. So I was like, man, I wonder how many miles I can clock in 24 hours. And then, during this time, I ran into an interview on the link with Chris and Sabrina with this homeless veteran. And it was crazy because all the misconceptions and all the myths that I had in my mind when it came to homelessness, especially here on Guam, it was like, whoa, it was so mind-blowing. It just made me think about homelessness with a different lens. So I just thought to myself, hey, might as well go for, I could kill two birds with one stone, do this 24-hour trek, around Guam across Guam, and why not for a good cause, So, I hooked up with the Guam Homeless Coalition. And then I was like, you know what? Like, promotions and all this stuff is definitely not my thing. I know a guy, and I know he's down to freaking do this thing with me. So I hit up my boy Matt Scroll with Guam Time, and it just took one call. Next thing you know, and it was Matt. It was only like a short time, like 2 weeks, really. You know what I mean? Of when we had the call to, hey, okay, we're doing this. You know what I mean? And it's honestly, my expectations were definitely way exceeded with the amount of community support. Not only from just the donors, not even just from the cool positive messages that we've been getting, not even from the amount of positive light that we're getting from the media. But from our sponsors, for these donors for the event. It's just mind-blowing. It's really, really cool to see people come together and for such an amazing cause.
Well, man, let's talk about the numbers and how people can donate. And you talked about it before, when you see people at the intersections with the sign, you're hesitant to give money, but there's other ways you can help out without it being monetary.
I think that was something that opened up both Frank and myself eyes when we were throughout this whole process learning more from the Guam Homeless Coalition. Is a lot of people, they want to help, they just, one, don't know how, and two, they're worried that if they give money, where exactly is that money going to? That's one thing. So something that we would highly encourage everyone, that people donate clothes and food, and that's great. But one thing that people may not consider of donating is hygiene supplies. So whether you see people on the road, at the street lights, or, camped out somewhere, or if you want to donate to the Salvation Army or the Guam Homeless Coalition, one thing we would really recommend is hygiene supplies. I mean, think about it. Majority of people that donate or give a couple of bucks out on the streets is like, everywhere from $5, $10, if you're really gracious, $20. But if you go to any grocery store, just buy body soap, shampoo, and a bar of soap. Just that alone. How much is that equivalent to? So if you're a homeless person, you get $5. You want to buy that stuff, but really you're going to use it for something you really need, like food and water. So this is something that kind of gets neglected, and maybe people just don't know. So one thing we would highly recommend is, if you see someone on the side of the road or leading up to this event or after this event, think more about hygiene supplies. And you could definitely donate food or drinks. It doesn't always have to be money. I think a big thing that we also learned during this process is the ethnicity for everyone that's homeless on Guam, the ages of people that are homeless on Guam. Something that hit close to home for me, and I know it hit home for a lot of you who have kids, but there's a huge percentage of those that are homeless that are ages from birth to 5 years old. So imagine, like, you know, not only being that child, but that family trying to provide. So what we're trying to say is, you know, think twice when you do see someone homeless, and, you know, don't just let the misconceptions of what you may know and don't know. So, you know, I highly recommend everyone heads to guamtime.net. That is where you can donate online. But this morning we did add a lot of these statistics that you could read over right under where the donation bar is. So if you just want to learn more, simply go there or visit the Guam Homeless Coalition's Facebook page.
To add to that too, you know, when we think of homelessness, right? You know, we see people on the side of the road, you know, asking for money or for whatever it is. There's a huge percentage of homelessness that we don't see, you know, and there's a huge percentage of homelessness that you know, that probably are too mamalo sometimes to ask, you know, or are still seeking assistance. And that's why I chose to go with the Guam Homeless Coalition, and to have the proceeds go to the Guam Homeless Coalition, because, man, these guys and all their partners are on the ground. They see everything going on, you know, they have necessities. They're dealing and one with a lot of the people that are in need. So you know, I think that is, you know, that is a real I'm like so glad that, you know, Matt and I were able to connect with them, and shout out to the Guam Homeless Coalition and Samantha, you know, for all the help and assistance. You know, this is just 24 hours, you know what I mean? Yes, we're just going to be walking and running and whatever for 24 hours, but people are really going through this on the daily. And, you know, may we continue to just spread awareness and, you know, not only educate ourselves, but, you know, educate other people. You know, it's something to take 5-10 minutes out of your day, out of your dinner session with your family, and just kind of discuss it and Google some stuff. And it's, you know, it's really something that needs to be addressed.
Tell us where the start point is, and where you guys looking at finishing the event.
Yeah, honestly, when I first started, right, when I first brought this up to Matt, I was kind of like, dude, I'm just gonna wing it, bro. We're gonna go. And he was like, okay, hey man, that's cool, and that's Rambo and everything, right? But man, we need to have a sort of pathway, right? Like an end goal, and just something so that you know, it really just helps to be organized. You know what I mean? And so man, hats off to Matt for that. And Guam time, we're gonna be going from Malesu Pier at 8 a.m. and we're gonna be trekking our way through Umatic into Agate towards Navy. And then from Navy, we're going to go just take Marine Drive all the way straight to GRMC, make that left, and then go all the way to Retidian Point.
We will have some meet spots along the way, just because the reality is we're going to have to take a rest here and there. So, you know, if people wanted to just kind of show their support or stop by, you know, follow Frank or Guam Time's social media pages, and you can kind of see where our meet rest points are. The other thing is, you know, people have been asking, like, hey, can we give you guys drinks, or can we donate this? And it's like, hey, we're all about it. Like, if you see us and we look like we're dying and we need a bottle of water or Gatorade, like, by all means, you know, give it to us. But I think what's more importantly is, for these 24 hours, you know, if you see us, if you're going to go to the store and buy us a Gatorade or a water, what would be more important is if you guys buy 4 or 5 of those, and sure, give one to us. But I think what's more important is go give it out to some of the homeless that we see out throughout the island. Because let's be honest, we all do see them every day. And I think it's either like, I don't want to use the word ignore, but it kind of gets put on the back burner when we're going through our busy day to day. So if there was one ask of Frank and I is, you know, if you do see us running, or at least for these 24 hours, if you see someone in need, please do something to support them. And if money is not the thing you want to donate, drinks, food, hygiene supplies, anything that can help these guys get through their day, because a little bit to us goes a long way for them.
I just want to say thanks, Double D, because I heard you're joining us from the very beginning to the very end. Right on, dude. You're the man. Solid. You know, I'm not really, you know, we just thought about it too. You know, we're not out there to, you know, to promote like, hey, let's all walk together. But hey, if you wanna join us within your 6 feet of distancing, and you know, for the cause, you don't have to join us on the whole way, the whole 24 hours. You could do a little leg, or you could do like from Paseo to whatever. Or if you want to be like a Double D, you can join us for the whole thing.
We're here with UFC fighter Trevin FiveStar Jones. You have a second fight in the UFC next month against Randy Costa. Tell us what you know about your opponent and how training camp's been going for you.
Training camp's been very good, man. I started my training camp out in Las Vegas, Nevada. I went to Atlanta. I got some training in Atlanta. I headed back to Las Vegas, Nevada. I ended up taking a trip for a weekend to California, and I got some training over there also in Long Beach for about 2 days. Sharpened up on some techniques, some movement. I'm back on Guam, you know, with the boys. It's hot here. I get my weight real low here, man. And the boys are excellent training partners, man. And it's good to be on Guam. Guam's so small that I can get to a gym during COVID season, and I can call certain partners over to work with me, and it's even great like that, man. It's a real team, and how a real team should focus on a fighter when it comes time to him fighting. And now I leave tomorrow to Las Vegas again to top off camp in Las Vegas, where I will be fighting, you know, get that reacclimation back and just get that breathing down and just be ready to go. My opponent, that's wise, he's a very talented opponent. All the opponents in the UFC, I see them that they got something that got them there. So he's definitely a challenger, you know. But I've been through this a lot, Dave, man. I've traveled all over the world. I've fought all over the world, and I'm just ready for this opportunity. I'm ready to capitalize. He's very tough. He's a striker. He likes to throw kicks. But I fought opponents like him before. He's a little aggressive. I got great counter striking, so we'll see how it plays out when we clash in there. UFC 259.
Also getting in some quality training at Custom Fitness, where the Claros brothers really approach it with that scientific route where you're able to recuperate, get the body right, and it's just those explosive movements.
Yes, man. It's so good over there. It just gets your body like right where you need to be. It's very taxing when you're doing it, but it's not so taxing where you're trying to lift too much weights, or you're straining your muscles, or you can't make it to your next training session. It's enough to keep working and work to the point where it is hard when you're doing it, but you can go do another workout 3 hours, 4 hours later, instead of doing heavy muscle work, and then you can't do nothing later because you pulled something. So yes, they're very technical with their approach, and I actually love it over there.
And in your fight career, you've been blessed to not have any major injuries or setbacks throughout your career. How do you feel right now heading into training camp back in Las Vegas?
Man, I feel great, man. Like you said, I haven't really had any major injuries, knock on wood. But yeah, man, I'm very smart on my training, and my physical fitness is good, man. Like I said, Dave, we've been playing football, rugby for a long time now, and you know how physical that can be. And it just translated over to the MMA game, man. My body made for this, Dave. Before I used to go so hard, and I even wonder why I can go so hard, and I watch so many of my training partners get hurt. Not that it's brain, but just knees, elbows, things like that. But I realized what we did our whole life. We played football, we made contact. So yeah, I really think my body's made for this, and I'm prepared, Dave. Man, this fight is everything to me. I got a lot of people behind me. I'm putting it all on the line out there. My body's great. I'm in great shape, probably best shape in 3-4 years of my fighting career. And man, it's gonna be a nice show for Guam and everybody.
You making the switch to being a full-time fighter and training MMA full-time, you can see the benefits of doing that now.
I was still trying to earn my black belt, but ever since about almost 3 years ago now, when I earned my black belt, I was able to finally say, okay, now I can take my other career seriously and full potential. And that's what I've been doing, Dave. And yes, you're right. I feel the levels just shoot up. So the guys that fought me before, you know, I was a jiu-jitsu guy out there and part-time in military, but the people that are fighting me now, they're going to see I'm a lot better, a lot more dangerous. And, you know, my IQ is good out there, as they could see in the last fight. My last fight, people are like, oh, he didn't perform that well in the beginning of the fight. My approach was to let him get tired as me. And then we fight both on the same level. And I knew my body was durable enough to take his punches, take his beating, and move around like that. Of course, it was a nice push kick, but besides the push kick, I would have been in the fight all the way through. So a lot of approach you can take it. It just depends on your IQ, depends on how much you study, and depends on how much you believe in yourself. That's the approach I went by, and it worked out perfect for me.
And congratulations on the comeback of the year. Something that you know, turned a lot of heads and got a lot of recognition.
That was a great thing. I don't like the fact of comeback of the year because that's saying I got eaten a little bit. But, you know, I'll take it on 34 hours notice. No problem. You give me something like that on 34 hours notice, I'll take it. That's great. A lot of fights, Dave, I've looked so hard on myself. I'm mad. Then I go back and watch these fights, and I'm like, wow, Trev, you did great out there. How can you be mad at yourself? You went over there. You made the weight, you took a short notice fight, and you did great out there. But knowing that I still won, you know, so people can look at me and say what you want. I got 5 split decision losses. And, man, if you take away those 5 split decision losses and give me those wins like I believe I should, then I'm at an 18-1 record. So people are sleeping on me, I believe, and they're going to find out real soon.